Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Q here. Hope you're doing well. Hey, I want to talk about a couple of changes I made to the Royal Enfield here, which I think really have perfected the bike for me. And these two changes are really two things that really transformed the bike. The first one I've talked about before. It's going up a tooth on the front sprocket here. I went from, I think the 16 tooth is the standard, to the 17 tooth. That made a world of difference. Just because of the roads around here, the speed limits, there are all these like back roads, 2-lane highways with 55-mile-an-hour speed limits. And now I can do 65 miles an hour at 4,000 RPM, and the bike is very comfortable at that RPM, and just that extra 5 miles an hour for a given RPM has transformed the bike, made it so much more adaptable to riding here where I ride. The other change is this saddle. You may notice that this is not the stock seat that comes with the Royal Enfield. In fact, this is the fourth saddle I've had for this motorcycle, working on trying to get one that really does the job. So I started with a stock saddle, and then I bought the Royal Enfield touring saddle here, only marginally better. I got this other saddle from India. What's the name of it? Trip Machine. Sorry about the dangling piece of electronics there. This one from Trip Machine. It's very good looking, as you can see. Nicely constructed, but very hard. And they claimed in their sales pitch that, you know, the hard was actually more comfortable for long trips. Well, this 68-year-old man found out that hard is actually less comfortable for long trips. So really didn't live up to billing. It's a nice piece of kit, but just wasn't that comfortable. So that brought me to this guy. And I bought this one on eBay. I will put up a picture of the exact description. But anyway, I bought this thing with high hopes. Actually, I bought it with low hopes. I expected it to be just basically another failure. But I bought it, and it arrived, and it looks quite impressive, doesn't it? Until you see one thing here. So I'm not sure if it really comes out, but this stitching is crooked. Actually, it doesn't look as crooked as when it arrived. So maybe just using the saddle now for a while has straightened it out. But the first thing I saw when I took it out of the box is this stitching was all crooked. And I just was like, sigh, you know. But I don't want to send it back. You know, it's such a pain in the ass sending something like this back to India. So I see the stitching's a little off. If you look on the bottom of these saddles, you'll find they're either stapled, you know, stretched and stapled underneath, or stretched and glued. This one is stretched and glued. But it was only a $150 saddle, and it looks quite impressive. And so I said, well, let's give it a try. Meanwhile, as I'm riding a motorcycle, this is a 2022. I bought it brand new. I've put over 20,000 miles on this bike. And as I rode it, I realized, you know, the suspension is kind of budget, and the roads around here can be bumpy. So I was starting to think, you know, I'm going to have to upgrade the suspension. And then do I go with the YSS, or do I go with the Öhlins? You know, so do I spend, I don't know, somewhere between $400 and $1,000 to upgrade the suspension? And, you know, I thought I'd have to do this because I'm keeping this bike. In fact, I think if I was to only keep one motorcycle, particularly of these two, the BMW R18 Classic or this one, this might be the only motorcycle I keep, because it's just the classic, do everything, beautiful, simple, air-cooled, parallel twin, the old BSA British design. It's just a great bike. It just does everything well. But, you know, the suspension is budget. It needed that bigger front tooth. But here's what I found out. I found out that this seat makes all the difference. It's so well padded, it's so cushy, that it solved my suspension problems, if you can believe that. Now, with the stock suspension, this thing just rolls over the bumps. I don't get the sharp jolts anymore. So this saddle has transformed the bike every bit as much as the 17-tooth front sprocket. And man, I just have this sucker dialed in. I have it dialed in so well. It just fits me. It's comfortable. It's fast enough. It handles. It's, I don't know how you beat it. I really don't. And you know, make no mistake, the BMW R18 Classic, very similar story. I've dialed this thing in. I've done all this work with aerodynamics to get the airflow nice. It's a beautiful machine. The quality is fantastic. The power is undeniable. You know, this has twice the horsepower of that and 3 times the torque. Sometimes I think the BMW R18 would be the only bike I kept if I went to one. But, you know, and you can tour on this thing. Touring on this little standard 650 would be a challenge. But anyway, you know, I love them both. They're both so beautiful. They both, instead of buying new bikes, I've focused my time and energy on dialing these things in, making them fit me, making them suit me and where I ride. And it's really been a joy. So at some point, you know, when you stop buying and selling new motorcycles and you settle on a couple motorcycles that are just so beautiful and so, you know, and plus the market just doesn't recognize them. This one has 26,000 miles on it. The Royal Enfield has over, I think, 23,000 miles on it now. So the resale value has fallen through the basement. And, you know, it's a good thing, because I'm very happy to be stuck with these two guys. But that's the video, really. Just this surprising saddle, the way it transformed the Enfield with the 17-tooth sprocket. It's just made this bike fantastically comfortable. It's a do-it-all bike, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So hopefully you guys got something from that. If you're thinking about buying a Royal Enfield Interceptor 650, I'd recommend you buy it. They are still a bargain. They're coming out with different looks, different paint schemes, different wheels. I'm not a fan of all of them. So you know, buy one that is particularly beautiful in your eye. I think that's extremely important. Don't buy an ugly motorcycle. You won't be happy with it. But I can't recommend the Enfield Interceptor enough. This BMW R18 is a whole different animal. I love it. I'll make another video on that one soon. Anyway, guys, that's it for me now. Bye for now, and take care.